Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh, Barak Thumb. And so, out here another week to pretty much proclaim our heritage of being Israel. That is the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the confusion of faith, the scattered sheep that may not look like the average Israelite, but the truth resides. So we're proclaiming our heritage, and we're coming to the realization of who we are as a people. You know, that pretty much we've been scattered among all the nations, so we lost our heritage, but now we're coming back into the fold. And so, you know, what's happening is, as that's happening, of course, Esau's going to come down having great wrath because he knows his time is short. You see, when Israel comes back to the realization of who they are, they repent and come back to their ways, start calling upon the name. Oh, I hate this thing. I wish this thing would stay, but the wind is so bad here. I'm trying to get it to stay. Oh, trying to get it to stay. Well, I guess I'll just have to hold it up like this. So, coming back to the realization of who we are as a people and how we got scattered abroad because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments that we were given. You know, we went off and wanted to be like the other nations, you know. Thus, that's why the temple was overcome and you know, we started eating swine and started following the ways of the Edomites. Now, this thing won't stay. This is what you go through if you're a one-man camp like me. You have to hold your sign up and hold your selfie stick and everything else and try to do the best you can here. See if I can move to another place. Okay, maybe I just should stay here while the wind is very high. So, anyways, coming back to the realization of who we are as a people, which means not keeping the ways of the heathen, not learning the ways of the heathen. And you know that 2/3 of our people are going to go and celebrate that bullshit next week. And so I'm just going to read out of here. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, learn not the way of the heathen, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. That is what they like to call UFOs, or, you know, those with glowy white beards, because now they're starting to show up too. AKA angels and the chariots are starting to show up. So we're not dismayed at them, but yet we're rather embracing them. That is the elect of us, because 2/3 don't know what the fuck's going on. Or they want to try to take away from us by saying that those things are Photoshop, but how can you Photoshop a video? For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. You know, and that's what they do. Whether you have an artificial tree or you, you know, have an actual one, I mean, but to what good is it? They deck it with silver and gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not, you know. So this is a pagan custom, you know, because all Catholicism is collectively all the religions into one, to where they worship the Romans, which are the Edomites, you know, thus worshiping Caesar Borgia. That's why the Pope meets every year to talk with all the religious leaders. All the religious leaders are collectively better known as Catholicism, which is what Christianity is a dividend of. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also it is in them to do good. And that's talking about you Edomites and you other wicked. It's not in you to do good. It's not in you to uphold the righteous laws and decrees. No, this is only for an elect, because 2/3 of our people don't want to come out of this either. You know, then they're just as guilty, if not more guilty, because here it is, we were given the law, statutes, and commandments, and yet still wanted to go off. So, you know, because, and no, forget, the mark of the beast is the RFID implant. You know, 2/3 of our people are going to take that because they're not even teaching that the mark of the beast is the RFID implant. You know, and so we know that, you know, thus we're in captivity now, but a greater captivity is going to happen. That is to you heathen, you wicked 2/3. Well, you 2/3 are pretty much are going to be caught in the judgment that's coming against Babylon the Great, the whore that sitteth on many waters, better known as America. Joel chapter 3 verse 1, for behold, in those days and in that time that I will bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. You know, so we're in captivity now in this place called Babylon the Great, America. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, which are us, the elect, you know. And of course, like everything else, they're being drawn into this war. Gomer's in the war, Magog, Russia's in the war, and of course the Israeli state, Amalek, is drawing everybody else into the war because, of course, they've been attacking Syria as of late. And that's where the Valley Jehoshaphat is, Saudi Arabia and that whole region there, better known as Hamath and Arpad. And have cost lots for my people, and they've given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may not drink. And that's what they did when they brought us over here. You know, we were sold to our enemies, the Edomites, whom they have scattered among the nations that parted my land. You know, because you have Amalek, the Israeli state, and you have Palestine, and then you have all these other sectors there. You know, pretty much it wasn't theirs. No, it belongs to the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the confusion of faith that be among them. But we're not going to come back to our land. Yes, some of us might be there, but we're not going to come back to our land until the Most High himself gets us out of this place. Yea, and that you do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine, will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. And I was talking about you Amalekites, you know, you wicked, you know, because you know, have taken us down, and then you exalt yourselves up and call yourself the chosen people. You know, you pretty much have catfished the whole world. But now, pretty much, it's coming out now who the real Israelites are, that we're still in captivity to this day, Judah and Jerusalem. And so, you know, we're coming out now, and we're taking a proverb against this place, Mount Seir, because you have taken the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. Modern day Grecians, of course, are the Edomites, because that's what they like to call themselves, that you might remove them from far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your head. And that's what's happening now. You know, we're returning to our power, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Esau hates the fact that we call upon that name, that we've divorced the total name of Jesus Christ and all the other names that they want to call him, that we come back to the realization of who we are. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the confusion of faith to be among us, collectively, we are the real Israelites, and we're proclaiming our heritage. And this is scaring Esau because, of course, he knows these prophecies. And I will sell your sons and daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai have spoken it. And that's what's happening. That's what we're doing each week. We're telling you what's going to happen before it's happening. We're foreshadowing. We're prophesying against Mount Seir, letting you know that it's now time. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. And this part of the Gentiles, not talking about the Israelite foreigners, but yet talking about all you heathens. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And that's what's happening now. Everybody's being gathered into the Middle East. Hamath and Arpad. You know, pretty much Syria and the region being brought into this war that cannot be won lest it come to nuclear destruction. And that will happen once Damascus falls. It won't be long after that, because Isaiah 17, which you know, is a hot topic, you know, it will come to pass. So will all these other prophecies. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. That's what's happening now. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's what's going to happen, is pretty much they're all going to be gathered into this war that just never ends. You know, the war started with a war of terror. You know, then it's supposedly they're fighting ISIS, but you know that that's a lie, because ISIS works for the United States, works for the beast, UN, NATO. So, of course, you know, and people see it for what it is. For Esau has been made bare, his plans, which is pretty much for the Greater Israel Project, where they control everything. You know, but like everything else, this is going to be a fight, and it's the fight of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, where he's gathering all these nations to go to battle. And so this place, America, Babylon the Great, can finally be brought down. You know, just like the walls of Jericho. Our enemies are going to compass and going to fight each other and they kill each other, while we are going to come out here and prophesy until we can no longer. Until Esau starts to push the microchip, which we know that next year, big time, they're going to push it, because, of course, you know, from ISIS to ICE, they're going to use that as an excuse to go ahead and start chipping people so you could be identified and controlled by the government. You know, you won't be able to get into buildings or behind security, you know, pretty much. And if you get out of line, they'll turn your chip off. But once you've taken that chip, you're fucked anyways, because you're going to be caught in the nuclear destruction. Thermonuclear war will make this place desolate. That's the fire that shall come down from the heavens, turn this place into a lake of fire. And so, you know, we're warning our people not to take in these wicked customs, such as Christmas, Easter, you know, New Year's. All those things are all vain, for they will not profit you. But coming into this truth and repenting of these things, however, will, and prophesy against Mount Seir. So like everything else, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Barakatam. Hope this has been edifying to you elect. Shalom, death to America, and death to you 2/3.